the boat lost steerage, total steerage failure. I haven't done anything on a scale as intense as what this is going to be. If I'm being completely honest, there's probably a part of me that hasn't really sat down and thought about how intense this could be. Realistically, falling in is one of the biggest risks. Temperatures sitting around 0 degrees, even -1.
British sailor Ella Hibbert will begin her attempt to become the first person to circumnavigate the Arctic Circle without the support of any others.
I'd say a little bit higher. On your right side, maybe time it left. Oh no, up a bit. I think that's good.
Yeah?
I think that's good. No. It's like story time.
Rick's fixing it. Is it?
It's Monday, isn't it?
Oh God, it's a Monday.
And then when I first got, I think I did so it's a battery redistribution. Probably pulled out half a mile of redundant cabling. That was just the first stage. And almost every system on this boat I've had handed in one way or another.
When we went on our sea trial to Stavanger last year, and the boat heeled over and all 3 drawers went flying across the boat. I think 1 landed on the bed and 2 under. So just avoiding a repeat of that for this year. The everything man.
Oh, look at those. Only match. I mean, it's one thing working on boats when you've got an audience, but, you know, having a full film crew follow you around, it's another level, you know.
When the maritime safety information messages come in, for example, nav or meteo, it will beep, like beep, 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 beep.
Okay.
But you get used to it after 6 months.
I'm Dan Rooney. I'm the Maritime Director for Iridium. We hope to keep Ella connected during the 5-6 months while she's circumnavigating the polar regions, and more importantly, to keep her safe. Once she's sailing further away from land, of course, there is an increased risk in that area of big weather, big waves, ice, and so we want to give Ella the confidence and capability that no matter where she's operating, if things go wrong, she can hit the red button and be connected to a rescue agency anywhere in the world. But that's only part of the project. It's absolutely vital that Ella keeps her motivation high, and that means keeping connected to her family, and it will give her the confidence that she is always in touch.
So it's 7 weeks until departure time now. I'm just about next week to drive Rika down to the south of France so she can spend the summer there with my parents, which will be lovely for her, but sad for me to have to leave her there. But I know she'll be well looked after. And yeah, I'm just getting really excited, gearing up to go. There's still a few jobs to finish off on board. We've got to calibrate the satellite compass later this week, and we're converting one of my water tanks into a fuel tank. But other than that, we're very nearly there. Come on. Come on then. Come on then. Precious baby. Precious baby.
Fun being mic'd up first thing in the morning.
God, I love it. Oh, your boat's been invaded again, little dog. Today we are taking Eva out for a sail. So first things first, we've got to take the dog to my friend Sarah, who's going to watch it for the day. Then we'll come back and get the boat ready, and then we'll head off at about lunchtime, hopefully, and try and catch a breeze. We went out last week only just to the fuel dock, but last time I went out for a sail was in Storm Ewan, so that was 5 weeks ago now. I think it's going to be similar to last year, good days and bad days. So there were days last year when I was up on deck in little to no amounts of clothing having a sunbathe. Whether I can still pull that off where I'm going this year, I don't think so. But yeah, there'll be days of calm and twiddling your thumbs and waiting for a breeze, and then there'll be days where we're battening hatches and putting storm jibs out and sailing around in some pretty rough weather. So it'll be on the scale of what you think might happen during a day of sailing. There'll be a bit of everything. Want to go pee-pees? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Good morning. How are you doing, sweetie? What we're testing today is all equipment that I have used before, but it's stuff that hasn't necessarily been used since last summer's sailing. So testing the water maker is one of the key ones because it's one of the pieces of equipment that I can't test, or really shouldn't test, in the marina because I don't want to run that sort of dirty water through it. So we need to get out into some better water for that. And I'd also quite like to test the inside steering station and make sure that's all still working, just because that's hydraulics. So I just need to make sure that the sort of fluid levels are up to where they should be and that that's all working well. So the boat needs to be moving for that to happen as well. She knows where she's going. Who's that? Hello. Hello. She was like, yeah. Auntie Sarah's for the day.
Hey, Dad, Jessie.
Hi, Jess. Hi, beautiful. Hi. Hi, little one.
What a beautiful day.
Isn't it? Yeah, we're going to go out on the water. So I think I'm going to miss everyone and the dog, obviously. It's a long time to be away from family and friends, but it's not uncommon for me. You know, I left home at 18 and went away for a whole year that I didn't see any family or friends or the dog we had at that time. So it's something that I've done often. I've been away from home for a couple of years at a time with work and travel. So it's something that I'm used to, if that makes sense. Although I'll miss everybody, we're all used to me not being around. I haven't done anything on a scale as intense as what this is going to be. And I think, if I'm being completely honest, there's probably a part of me that hasn't really sat down and thought about how intense this could be or will be. I think the reality of the challenge that I'm going to be facing is really going to hit home when I'm actually leaving. The first couple of nights of solitude. I mean, it's a long time, sort of 5-6 months at sea, to think about why you put yourself in the position you have. But I'm not scared of it, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. So it's going to be, it's going to be more intense than anything I've ever done before, and probably will ever do again. But I've been aware of that, even if I haven't really sat down and mulled it over so much just yet, I guess. Feeling good about heading out today. I don't think there's going to be much of a breeze, so I'm hoping that the temperature warms up enough that we get a bit of what we call sea breeze in the afternoon. But I don't think there was much of that yesterday in much the same weather conditions, so we'll just have to go out and see if we can spot a breeze and then go and find it. I'm going to start hardening up and I'll come put a tack in. We'll go back that way. Watch the step. This is a little bit slower, back down to 3 knots now. I want to be doing 4, ideally. But that's why I'm leaving so much earlier than when the Northwest Passage is actually going to open. So I should get there, if I do 4 knots, 2 weeks earlier than it's ever opened. Because I want to be able to go up the North Sea and north of Iceland without having to use the engine. So if I have a day like this, I can do this speed and it won't matter to the actual timing of the Northwest Passage. Technically, you don't need any of this sort of stuff for an autopilot until the wind changes. I sailed last year from here to Stavanger in southern Norway with Rick the Pirate on board.
Out there, fixing the van back on.
And then he hopped off in Stavanger and I kept going by myself. So I did about 3 months alone all the way up to Longyearbyen, which is the world's most northern settlement in Spitsbergen. And on the way there, there's a passage I did from Tromsø to Spitsbergen, which was just shy of a week. And in the middle of the Barents Sea on that passage, the boat lost steerage, total steerage failure. The issue with the hydrovane is that it really only self-steers a boat when you've got wind. So when the wind died down, I was then in all of my wet weather gear and my scarves and my hats, sat on the back of the boat in sort of Arctic rain and sleet, hand steering at the back, which lasted about seven hours to get into port the last stretch. It's absolutely freezing, so I am layered up all the way down to my thermal long johns from Mustang Survival. Hats, gloves, scarves, you name it, I'm wearing it. And it's quite a few hours still to go, but hopefully, there'll be some shelter from the sea state and the wind once I get around the headland. So that was a pretty cold moment, yeah. Yes, everything's working. I didn't test the water maker though, which I wanted to do. The sail at the front's going to get wrapped up first. So that involves me handling 2 lines here and it will wrap up at the front. Then I'll be dropping the one in the middle and then I'll be dropping this one last. It's my cheat code for when it's not doing what I want it to do as easily as I want it to do it. Okay, 2 down, 1 to go. Realistically, falling in is one of the biggest risks, which is why we move around the boat in a certain way to mitigate the risk of falling in. Why I have lifelines to secure myself to the boat. In temperatures sitting around 0 degrees, even -1 up there at points, falling in the water would be a bit of a death sentence really. So the plan is very much not to. I also, on the port side of the boat, I have a man overboard ladder, so if I was clipped onto that side and fell in, I'd be able to walk myself to that ladder and get myself back in the boat. Realistically, whether I'd be able to pull that off with the loss of dexterity that comes with hypothermia is a different issue. So very much not falling in the water is the plan. Some of the training that I've undertaken for the expedition includes medical training. So I went to a place called Medical Support Offshore, EMSOS, in Southampton, and did a week of medical training with them where I learnt things like how to do stitches and staples, and put cannulas in my own veins to give myself fluids in case of dehydration, morphine if it ever came to that. By showcasing that the Arctic is now circumnavigable alone or with crew, we're showing without a shadow of a doubt that we are losing Arctic sea ice to an extent that we've never witnessed before.
So this isn't something that you could have done. How many years ago would this have been impossible? 15, 20 years ago, this wouldn't have been possible. So, yeah, that's sort of harrowing rates that we're losing the Arctic at. And scientists are now estimating that the Arctic could be entirely ice-free in the summer months as early as 2050, which means I could circumnavigate this year, age 28, turning 29, and before I'm 50 years old, I could hypothetically sail a straight line from Scotland to Tokyo across the top of the world, because the North Pole will physically no longer exist. That ice won't be there anymore. There's probably something in me that I get out there that I don't get here. You're task focused in an environment that I'm comfortable with, that to me feels almost more at home than I do sat here on land, to be honest with you. It will absolutely be physically and emotionally exhausting, but the reality of it is